up? We are back on the CEO Pulse podcast where you get the real, the raw, and the mind of entrepreneurship. Special episodes, Mindset Mondays with my co-host, Justin Thorstad. Bro, you got to do a little better than that.
But that's all I got, brother. I ain't got no game.
Jesus Christ. All right. Do I have to do everything around here?
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, the Mindset Mondays, right? We get comments, we get a lot of feedback on this stuff, and it's a really cool topic. We just flat out enjoy talking about personal growth, improvement, mindset, responsibility, and more than anything, the space that you have to hold as an entrepreneur, which takes us to today's topic. Manifestation, right? How many times have you seen the phrase or the word manifest? And you can sit there and visualize, and then things will eventually manifest. And you can create, you can manifest the life of your dreams and the life that you want, right? We see that, and it's almost at this point it goes hand in hand. It's like a cliche, right? It goes hand in hand with personal growth and the woo-woo thing, and it's easy to be skeptical to things like that. Totally. What we wanted to do is Justin just came out. He had a very good weekend on his seminar, and he just came out of that. And the conversation right before we hit record was, how you got to the point of actually doing this, right? And created that space of value for so many people coming into it. You're tired, you're beat, you're grumpy, you're doing your thing right now this morning, but it's a result of that manifestation. And what I want to do is highlight, right, the path of that whole thing. How do we come about creating, first off, the image of what we want? And then starting to believe that we can do it, and then taking the actions, and then progressively seeing it done, right? And I think just seeing the whole thing unravel, using, for example, what just came out of this weekend as a live example of what can happen when you focus on manifestation and creating the life that you want. And it doesn't have to be that woo-woo thing, right? That
Not
we
at all.
read on books.
Not at all. It's actually broken down into a very pragmatic approach too, right? Because energy flows where tension goes. So if you don't have a strategy, a sequence of events, how do you know what to pay attention to other than you're just sitting there at home on your couch eating Cheetos, visualizing?
Yeah.
That's supportive to an extent. However, there's got to be some action behind it too, right?
Yeah. I'm Hispanic, so we eat rufles.
Yeah, those two.
Rufles verdes with
rufles.
chile and limon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right.
What he said.
But yeah, so Cheetos is yeah. Anyways, that works too.
It's a white boy version.
Yeah. I didn't want to say anything, but I'm gonna. All right. So no, but it's interesting, right? Like, let's take it back. So again, you just put together a seminar, and the launching pad for that, it really has been your brokerage, right? So you grew that with that same thought process, with that same mindset.
Totally. Everything that I build, yeah.
Exactly. So it connected to that. Now you open that opportunity, and people are gravitating towards it, right? Because there's something that that's of value, but that value oftentimes is comes in the form of doubt, right? So
Absolutely.
Take it back. Like, when did you first have the idea to put something like this together?
Yeah. So it really stemmed from the brokerage. Oh no, I got to take that back. So if you really want to get good at manifesting your biggest desires and dreams and aspirations, I think it comes from, first of all, just deciding what is that. So I decided what it was for me, like my purpose in life. And that came from identifying what are my pain points. So I took a look at the pain points in my life. And if I were to take the context of, say, in business, right? The pain points were, I started as a young kid, no fucking clue how to do, what to do, but just an aspiration, a vision of success at a large level, to have liberty in my life, to have time and money and relationships to go do what I want to do, when I want to do it, who I want to do it with on my terms. Like, isn't that what life's all about? Yeah. It's not just working a 9 to 5 for 30 years, getting a pension, then dying. Like, that sucks. For me, my opinion, okay? That's not what I wanted. So I took a look at those pain points. And through personal development, through mindset type stuff, learning more about myself and where I'm holding myself back, what are my self-imposed limitations, going to work on that and transcending some of that and creating more inner peace, more love, more joy, more abundance. And Then I decided to start a real estate team. It was like, okay, I've mastered the business strategy. That's the easy part, man. Like, what's your action plan? That was simple. But what I noticed is that in teaching people how to do the strategy, they were bringing a version of themselves that was a lower level of self-awareness, lack of insight into the winning strategy, and not producing the desirable result. It's like, okay, so there's something else at play here. We all have self-imposed limitations. So what if we go to work on that and utilizing a successful strategy of action, of like what to do to go produce results? Inevitably, the self-imposed limitations are going to come up. They're going to come up looking in different ways, right? Like scared, anxiety, all those kind of lower survival emotions. And when those come up in people, if you've been through it yourself, you can clearly see it even before the person does and give them that bit of awareness and what's going on, why is it going on, and then a new model of reality to shift to. So I started doing that with people in the Thorstad team. They were becoming successful at a large level. And then it was like, okay, let's start a brokerage. But then I was going through another level of self-imposed limitations, right?
Yeah.
So working with myself and working with people along the way, like if you want to go fast towards something, go it alone. But if you want to go really far and build something big and beautiful, you're going to have to take others with you. So that Thorstad team transpired into Libertas Real Estate. Now that was going on at a bigger level, just as successful. And then I thought, okay, what's the next logical step here? What feels good? What fills my heart? And that was, okay, let me just get in front of entrepreneurs. Let me not pigeonhole myself just with realtors, but what about entrepreneurs, people self-employed that want to win at a bigger level?
Yeah.
How do I bring my message to more and more people for less cost? Like, how do I impact the collective consciousness and move the needle forward a little bit more towards heaven on earth and a little less towards hell?
Yeah.
Right? So it was a seminar. So it actually came to me in a meditation one day because I love my meditation practice. That's the opportunity for me to just sit down, quiet my mind, and invoke that inner peace, that joy, that love, that connectedness. And when I hit that state, every single meditation through practice, then information comes to me. So it's not my mind thinking of things and wondering what the strategy is, it's receiving it. So I like to say, prayer is talking to God, but meditation is listening.
Yeah. I love that. And anybody out there who hasn't, I mean, that, for example, is like, that's exactly the woo-woo type of stuff that I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to kind of absorb if you've never been exposed to that kind of thing. One thing, it's almost like a side note, but I want to throw that out there because it's a very important thing that I don't want people to miss out on. And that's sometimes we get downloads, right? How do you recognize one of those? I mean, I call it downloads when I'm meditating. Why? Because it's an idea or it's a thought that I know is not mine.
Yes.
How do I recognize those? There's and this is just how I go about those, and put a pin on the next topic. I don't want to go on tangents, but I want to, I don't know,
flush this out.
Yeah, flush this out. So it's sometimes you'll have thoughts, and you recognize that they came from a thread, right? Like you're able to follow the thread of that thought. For example, I don't know, you see a cup or you see a book, and it reminds you of something that reminds you of something, and then reminds you of something, and it pops up an idea or something. You can backtrack that thought, and that's a thought that's coming from within you, right? It's not something that's just spontaneous. On the other hand, when you have downloads, especially in meditation, that's really when I see them. These are like random thoughts, like, oh, that's weird. Like it's really cool to step back and then just see kind of where the thought is coming from or what it's doing, and realize that, okay, that's not something that I can connect to a train of thought or a thread. And that's how I recognize those thoughts, those random, quote unquote random thoughts, are the ones that I pay the most attention to.
It's like a solo off on its own. It's not connected to anything else.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how I recognize those. But carry on. I just wanted to clarify that.
And just to dovetail on that point, for me, the difference between a thought and a download is a thought. It's almost like I can hear it in my voice internally. But a download is something else. It's just more of a soft, subtle knowingness of information. So it's for me, I'm a lot more kinesthetic. It feels different, and it's. Is
there ointments for that?
They're.
Sorry, it was right there. I had to go for it.
Yeah, well, take your shots when you can. You know what I mean? There's a subtle energetic difference, but it's massive in a different knowingness. So yes, I get the download seminar. Right. And also one for a book, and my human is still in resistance to that. I'm not on board with it yet, for various reasons. But anyways, so the idea came in: do a seminar.
Yeah.
And okay, so that was a really big goal for me. Like Bob Proctor talks a lot about A, B, C type goals. C type goal is a goal that's so big, you have no idea how you can possibly pull it off. In fact, even if you talk to other
Scary
people,
ones,
it's scary. Yeah. Like you still don't have any idea how it's going to be possible. So I did the next best thing. I sat down in my meditations and I just connected to me being on stage and expressing, like bringing forth my perfect self-expression, and then it being received by others, and it actually being of value, and actually helping people pivot the trajectory of their life. And then at the end, receiving like an applause, because that doesn't fit my self-image at the time very well, right? But like that was not just to feed my ego, but as a sign of, thank you, Justin, because of my involvement in choosing to be here and invest my time and money, I got a tremendous amount of value, and that was a side of gratitude from them towards me. So that was the applause piece. And so, I believe C-type goals are like worthy ideals. And I believe everyone should have a worthy ideal, like a chief aim, like Napoleon Hill calls it. And that worthy ideal, the biggest shift for me, and I find with other people in articulating that worthy ideal, is that most people want to go for something they think they can accomplish. And it's like, then they think, okay, well, how am I going to be worthy enough to receive that end result? And it's like, no. You got it all ass backwards. If you have a worthy ideal and it's a goal that's so big, you got to realize like you're going to be trading your time, your energy, your attention, your effort for it. Yes?
Yeah.
So it's not, are you worthy of it? Because where you spend your time is where you spend your life. So if I'm going to invest my life into an idea, it better be worthy of me.
Yeah.
And that's a shift in beingness, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to take some time to get that to fit.
I love that, man.
That it's worthy of me, not am I worthy of it.
Yeah.
And so in my meditation visualization, it's emotionally connecting to that end result as if it's already done. And what I'm doing is I'm slowly conditioning, programming, cultivating, nurturing my self-image to get it to fit that end result. I got to connect to it. I need to know mentally, emotionally, how it's going to feel. I got to rehearse that future success as if it's happening now so I can take on the energy of it, hence becoming it. Yeah. And then it makes the doing this, the pragmatic, the strategy approach, a hell of a lot more effortless, but also fun. And now this pursuit becomes play because it's just something that I do.
So walk me through the process, right? And I think like we all have different, approaches to manifestation.
Sure.
Right?
This is just a way.
Yeah. And manifestation is really, we're talking about the end result, whatever you envision, whatever you put in your mind, right? And you attach emotion to it. You feel it. You feel, within you, and then see in your mind, and then you're gonna, get that end result. That's the manifestation, right? But walk me through the process, because in between all that stuff, there has to be a lot of, a high degree of belief, right? So how do we go from self-doubt, and issues in worthiness to, wow, I'm impacting a bunch of people, and now I'm seeing this happen. So you saw it in your brain. You saw it in your mind first. You being on stage, people just applauding back and saying thank you, and it just happened this weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the third one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, for me, my process, my strategy is to sit down every fucking day and connect to that end experience. And then the more I do that, the more details fall out and come into my awareness of like, okay, so first it was just on stage, right? Yeah. But now what does that really look like? How many people are in the audience? What kind of people? Yeah. What's the energy in the room? What am I presenting? All of these kinds of things. So the more I stay in motion with it, with my practice, I do my inside work, which is to increase my self-image to fit that end result. Those limiting beliefs and self-imposed limitations start being drowned out because I'm no longer paying attention to them. I'm paying attention to where I'm going and who I'm becoming. And you can't be a slave to two masters, so you got to pick one. So whatever I put my attention on is where I place my energy. And that is the thing that will begin to grow, expand, and multiply, whether that's where I'm going and who I'm becoming or my self-imposed limitations. You got to pick which one you're going to feed.
I agree. I love it. And I think that, the tendency to do this happens a lot, especially when you're going through a path of understanding yourself, understanding, personal growth. is one thing, but evolving into this human being that you want to become, right? All that energy has weight. Everything that we've learned in the past has weight. Everything and has pull, right? It's gonna try to pull you and reset you back into places that are familiar.
Yeah. It's a survival mechanism for the limbic part of the brain. Like
exactly. So it's going to try to pull you back to that space. Now, all of that has weight. As we're going through the process, I think one of the big fallacies that I've seen is that we'll have the tendency, and I'll speak for myself on this, right? But I mean, I think most people do the same thing. But we'll tend to focus on the stuff that needs to be repaired, right? And spend a lot more time trying to repair something. For example, trying to repair a lack of belief, trying to repair a limited vision, trying to repair the issues or the things that keep us thinking small, as opposed to creating. Creating more to the point where you're creating something so big, so precious, so full of gold, prosperity, and joy, and just great vibes and feelings, that it diminishes. Not diminishes, but it really dials the bad stuff down. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I think there's a lot more emphasis in that's often put in trying to repair stuff and fix shit, as opposed to create new things that are just gonna make that not matter anymore.
Yeah, well, and then going and trying to repair and fix things, it's like so that everything can be the same as it was before.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if it's breaking down and decaying, that's because there is something unseen yet in your awareness that is possible. Yeah. It's a potential reality, right? And so creation keeps you forward moving and elevating up to realize those potential realities. So when I had the vision for it, I'm sitting down and I'm visualizing it. The other thing is, okay, well, there's got to be some action taken, right? Yeah. So I thought, okay, how do I take this big...
What? You're saying that you have to take action on whatever you want to manifest?
You got to get off your ass.
That is crazy, Justin. No.
So there's a very simple way that I use, though, because for me, and more masculine energy, too, it's like we want to fix things. We want to build something. We want to see something come to life, right? Yeah. And if that's not happening, we don't feel good. We feel unfulfilled. We feel incapable, insufficient, all these kinds of things. So how do I move the needle forward in making progress? Because I believe success is simply the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Yeah. Not the attainment or achievement of it, right? Okay, so if it's the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, my worthy ideal is the seminar and the additional coaching programs that come from that. How do I progressively realize its unfoldment? Yeah. Okay, well, let me think about this. What if I break it down into just some 90-day goals? This first 90 days, what do I want to accomplish? 3 months. So for me, it was, okay, let me create a framework. Like, what are some of the best concepts, principles, strategies I've learned, implemented, adopted, and used to transform myself? Yeah. Let me just start with that content. That would be a great place. What is it I want to share with others that I found to be the biggest impact that I have actual experience with? And then my only job is to share those in a relatable way where people can actually absorb it so that they too can implement it. So in 90 days, I just created a framework. The next 90 days was, okay, what's the content in here? How am I going to articulate this? Yeah. Filled in the content. 6 months in, I now have a seminar. And the next 90 days, it was, okay, let me find somebody else that can do the PowerPoint presentation, because I wanted a workbook, visual aid. People can fill things in so they can leave with actually something tangible. Something tangible to go execute instead of a seminar. Oh my God, that was great. Monday morning comes along, they're like, now what do I do? Like, that doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? I want them to leave with an action plan. I want them to leave with some journaled awarenesses. I want them to leave as a new personality than the one that came in on Friday morning. And so that's clearly not my strong point to put together all that stuff. So if somebody referred me to somebody else, that lady made the PowerPoint, the workbook, and everything. So that was my 90-day goal, to get that done, all the revisions and all that. Yeah. So here we are 9 months in, I'm ready to go. Now, that doesn't mean that all the fear was gone, because I'll tell you, like, the first seminar I ever did was last October, actually. And 2 weeks leading up to it, man, just all my self-imposed limitations came up in full color, man. And I remember the first morning of the seminar, like, I was ill. I was so sick. I was in a state of dis-ease because of all those thoughts and emotions that were coming. And it was such a beautiful gift I gave to myself, because all those things got to come up so that I could be with it, so I could feel those emotions, let them go, flip the switch, and move into action to feel that fear and do it anyways. Yeah. And so the other thing, too, is, like, in those 9 months of the creation of this thing, like, all those little voices kept coming up, and I got to sit with it, and I got to notice the themes, the patterns. What are my self-imposed limitations, so I can go to work on them? And then, I mean, that first event, making myself sick, but having to flip the switch and get on stage and do it anyways. Like, the end result of that for me was such empowerment. Like, oh my God, look what the fuck I just did. Look what happened. Massive turnout. I feel accomplished. I feel proud of myself. I feel successful that I did a thing. And it's just so beautiful to see this abstract idea in my imagination, and now I'm living it.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a cool process.
You had to give it enough time to work, right? Just like anything else. The cool thing about going that route, right? The route that you're committed, not just only interested in what you want to create, is that you're putting something there of value, but you're exponentially growing as an individual. Your reach goes a long way, right? You get benefits, you get financial benefits, you get relationship benefits, but I don't think any of those outweigh the benefits that we get internally. The degree of belief, the degree of confidence, and I think the degree of understanding that we can put something great out there.
Yeah.
Once you taste that, once you have even a little taste of what it really is, it's almost like you need a fix, man. It's
absolutely. Well, I'll say it this way,
and then you start operating in a whole different way.
So everything that's tangible that we can see, is either in a state of growth or decay. Yeah. This piece of wood, it's clearly in a state of decay, right? Everything around us is in a state of decay, most things, unless it's alive and it's able to grow. So the question then becomes, what am I doing? Am I continually looking to evolve and grow me?
Yeah.
Or am I stale, stagnant, and in a state of decay? And so with that being said, about that empowerment, it's like, if I just did that, what else is possible?
Yeah.
And I choose to always, when an idea is given to me, I'm downloaded something, I choose to pursue it. Because really, I have another option, and that's to do nothing with it.
Yeah.
And if I do nothing with it, you and I both know, and everyone watching, because you can resonate with this, you have this big, brilliant, audacious, worthy ideal. And you're like, and if you just connect to it for a moment, you start to fall in love with it. But then when that self-imposed limitations come in, that doubt, that worry, that fear, that insufficiencies, like, who am I? It won't work out, and you start identifying with that, it's easy to not get into action. And in fact, you could be frozen and scared and not move. And then as time goes by, what are then the emotions going to be of that choice? Regret, self-beat up, put down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not willing to live with those emotions. So the only other alternative then is to do something about it, to just make motion.
Yeah.
And motion creates emotion. You can set short-term goals, hit and exceed them, and you start building momentum, some inertia. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's just there. Like, it comes to fruition. It's alive. It's real. It's happened.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. When you're able to just see something and not necessarily have it, all the angles covered, or know everything. I mean, I know for a fact that you I don't think there's anything more that you complain more, or I don't think there's anything that you complain more about than you not knowing or being techie. You're like, I don't know, I hate PowerPoints. I know how to do them, but I hate them. Like design, all that stuff. Like it's not your jam, right?
The shit out of me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not your cup of tea, right? But it doesn't mean, and it plays a big part into that, that thing that you wanted to manifest. But it doesn't mean that it's gonna hold you back, or you find somebody else.
Totally. Somebody
else is gonna gravitate, some other talent, some other vibe, some other energy is gonna gravitate towards it and help you out through the process. I think that's a very, very, very true thing to understand, right? As we're going through things, we may have an idea and then we may not see it manifest, or believe that it can be manifested. And the reality is completely opposite of that, right?
Yeah. Well, I believe that everyone gets these downloads. They get these sparks of inspiration. They want to create something, right?
The difference is awareness, I think.
It totally is, because then the mind goes to, but how's that going to happen?
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do this. And all those limiting beliefs.
Yeah, default thinking. We go back to default. Yeah.
But what I've mastered, and it's one of the things in this seminar, is intention versus mechanism. 100% intention will always create. Yet when people have the idea of what they want to create, they go to mechanism. Well, how? And I don't know how, so it's not possible. It's like, what the fuck do you know?
Yeah.
If you hold that clear intention and you keep connecting to it, mentally, emotionally rehearsing it, you set a short 90-term goal of 90 days of like, what can I do? What is my role in this big vision anyways? Because I'm not going to do all the things and be all the different hats in the pursuit of this creation. So for me, like, I know my role. I'm going to be the one on stage speaking. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, as I started moving forward and getting into motion, then I became aware of what I didn't know in this process. And now what are the holes that I need to plug?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't mean that I got to go do it and I got to be an expert at videography and PowerPoint and publisher and all. No. But in moving forward, guess what? The pieces and or the people appeared. So when the intention is clear, the mechanism will appear. The people, the things that are needed to make it happen will appear if you just keep moving forward to the best of your ability with your main role in whatever that worthy ideal is. It takes some faith, man. It takes some belief.
100% faith and belief, right? The amazing thing is that we all have the power to manifest. We have the power of manifestation.
We are
You see it all the time. We are creators of good or creators of bad, creators of great situations or shitty situations. Whatever. When I understood that anything that I'm a part of, it really comes down to me, and I took responsibility. Whether if it's good, if it's bad, it's my fault. If it's good, it's also my fault. Kind of thing. It really links back to that power of creation, the power of manifestation. We have the ability to sit there and actually take the reins of the type of path that we want to walk, right? And then work towards that. I think what happens though is that a lot of times awareness can be neglected, right? And even if you understand the word or the theory behind it, or have a notion of what awareness can be, a lot of times it's just easier to play like we don't grasp on, right? Like we don't. Okay, cool. I'm gonna blame life. I'm gonna blame outcomes. I'm gonna do whatever on something else outside of me. But when you have the awareness that you can actually make a change, when you have the awareness that you can come in and then change your life for the better and impact others and help people and inspire and motivate and empower, I think something within us gets broken in a good way, in a very, very good way.
Because you can't go back.
And you can't go back, and now you have that. I don't know. I mean, it's like if you're a superhero, and then now you have an extra superpower that you kind of that you can tap into, right? Which is manifestation, and it happens in very different ways for everybody. Granted, right, the road's not going to be exactly as you envision it the first time.
Never is.
But you're eventually going to get to that point. I mean, again, it took you 9 months, you said, to put together. Yeah, exactly. So you were sitting there. You had the idea. You connected your emotions to it. You connected a solution, a problem. You got pragmatic, and then you took action to it, and then you see it manifest down the road when the belief wasn't even there.
Yeah, totally.
9 months before. And then it's happening on stage. That happens with business. That happens with relationships.
Yep.
That happens just about every other realm that you can think of.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the other incredibly vital, important elements that were supportive in my success was the law of gestation. Like, things just take time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a woman doesn't have sex, and the next day she wakes up, she's holding a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, things take time. You don't plant a tomato seed. The next day you go out there and you're like, bitch, where's my tomato? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah.
So I gave myself plenty of time. Because what the hell do I know? I've never done this. How much time should it take? I got no clue.
I don't know.
However
long it takes.
So it takes 90 days for me to get to here.
Yeah.
And then I'll know the next step.
Yeah.
You know, if I just take the step, the next one's going to unfold. And so through that process, all the while, I wasn't emotionally attached to the end result.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't need a certain thing to happen. My thought process was, this is my first rodeo. I don't know what I'm doing. Never ridden the bull. How do I know what to really expect? I mean, I have an intention of what the perfect end result looks like and feels like.
Yeah.
But how that's going to play out, I got no idea. And I released my attachment. I let go of it needing to look a certain way. So I was able to flow with this process and allow it to unfold instead of controlling and manipulating and steering it a certain way of how I think it should have worked out. So I didn't need the end result, the money from it. In fact, my first seminar, man, I lost $8,000. I didn't know what I didn't know. I calculated, ticket prices, here's how many I need, da-da-da-da. I chose a venue that was extremely expensive, really expensive. Yeah, but guess what? After that first experience and learning about that, the venue, what I should provide, what doesn't need to be provided, location, all that kind of stuff, I then, the next event too, and my last one, like the cost of that venue went down 75%.
Yeah.
And it's like, let me get the people what they need, not what I think they should have. And otherwise, the ticket price is going to have to reflect that. And if I price the tickets way too high, how do I even articulate the value on that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I looked at it as $8,000. I wasn't pissed off that I lost money on it. I looked at that as, holy shit, I just bought an education, man.
Yeah.
Because, I could have went and I could have sought out coaches and mentors, and I did to an extent, but I could have paid for some courses and spent 9 months going through training, and I'd still be in the same spot I was before I even got started.
Yeah.
So how about I just get my ass moving?
Yeah. 100%, man. And this is the cool thing about, being on that path, right? A path of manifestation is a path of action. Is a path that's, where you're searching for results based on whatever aligns with you. I mean, I think it's the easiest way to kind of frame that. But one thing that I learned a while back, and this was another, I mean, I wish it was an original idea, but it was totally a download. It's the point is not the point. And I keep going back to that phrase. I was having a really good conversation with a great friend of mine, and the we were talking about the pursuit of things, the pursuit of success, and it came down to what happens when you reach it. When you reach the epitome of success and you're, I don't know, showered in gold and fulfilled
for 15 minutes,
whatever that means. Yeah. And, what happens then? Do we die? Like, is that the time when the bus drives, up and you get ran over, or like what happens, right?
Someone flips the switch.
Is that, exactly. Is that the cue, or like what happens? So like it was a very esoteric. Yeah, that's the word.
Esoteric.
I'm just making new shit left.
Yeah, we're having new vocabulary today.
Yes, we're de-expanding your vocabulary as we go. It's the coolest way to go about it. So this conversation, though, I mean, we went into this rabbit hole and it came down to, the point is not the point. If you think about it, right? Even if we take on the path of manifestation, the path itself is going to teach us a lot of things. You didn't have an issue with losing 8K. Why? Because you inside you were like, okay, I'm learning. I'm going through this process, and I'm, it's helping me. I'm seeing the positivity of what's going to be great down the road. But I think that's part of the manifesting process, right? And we come to we clash a lot with failure and putting labels like failure on activities, on actions, on situations, and specific circumstances, right? And I mean, that can be something very, very heavy that's eventually going to weigh you down. But if you...
Yeah, that's what you focus on.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think if we understand, as we're manifesting, as we're taking action, as we're pursuing the life that we want to create, right? Whatever that looks like right now, that may change in 5 years. Your vision of that life, or, it's going to evolve, right? Just like you are. But understanding that the point is not the point, and then the journey is really, part of that overall manifestation package. It's just kind of like, getting the trophy, right? When something cool and people, applaud you on stage. It's like, oh shit, cool, nice, great. I'm gonna do it better next time. Then I'm gonna,
well, that's the thing. It's like
take it to the next level.
When people go for the award, the recognition, the significance, like it's because there's this need of I'm not that, I'm not significant, and I need this approval, right? And then you get it, and I'm just speaking from my past. But then I would be left empty again by the next day. It's like, now I got to go chase and pursue the next thing to get some sense of significance, because I don't feel significant. Right. So, the point is not the point. The end destination is not the whole, that's not why you do it. Yeah. At least that's not why I do things now. So what I do things for is the process. It is the journey. I know it's kind of cliche. People say, enjoy the journey. Yeah, bitch. That really is the point, to enjoy that process. And if you're enjoying the process, you're having fun. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not having fun of the process, you have misread the instructions. You're missing out on what's available.
The assignment.
You didn't understand the assignment. And so, when I got to the end of that and I lost $8,000 and did my numbers, and I'm like, cool, I just got an education, because guess what? Now that I have an experience of it, I have an understanding. And because of that, I know what I could add, change, alter, evolve, do different next time. And I did. The next time I earned a tremendous amount of money, and then the next time as well. You know what I mean? It's like I made all that money back up several times over, right? And so, but again, what I got in the process was an education. What I got in the process was to uncover, to discover a new layer of my self-imposed limitations so that I can transcend those and let them go and change my focus on something more compelling, to evolve my awareness, to increase my level of consciousness so that I may be of more value to others, so that the law of compensation comes into play.
Yeah.
You earn compensation direct ratio to the value that you provide humanity, right? So like, what are you doing? How are you educating yourself? What's your journey? What's your process? And are you having fun in the process, man? Or does it become work? And if it becomes work, then you focus on and fixate and become emotionally attached to the end result. And if I don't get it, there's going to be hell to pay in here and out there. Right? You know what I'm saying? Or am I just here to have a good time, man, and enjoy it? And because, you know, this seminar could totally evolve into something completely different that was never in my awareness in the original conception of it.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to the intention versus mechanism, right? Keep your eye on the ball when it comes to intention. The mechanism is going to change, it's going to evolve, it's going to switch. And like the mechanism, this is the crazy thing, has the power to draw you into it and make you forget about the intention.
Totally. Well, and what I found for me and many other people
100%.
that I've coached is when they have a vague, foggy intention, and then they say, okay, well, here's how I'm going to get there, which where the fuck is even there if you're not clear, right? They become so narrow-focused. And when you become narrow-focused, you're not open and receptive to all potential realities, all potential strategies and solutions. It has to look like this. What I've noticed is, then your level of consciousness, self-awareness, and awareness of what's going on around you comes down, and you start living through your five senses. You start gauging your progress based on what you can see, smell, taste, touch, you know, and feel. And so it's like, it's such a limited scope of what's going on in your reality. And then it becomes so much more effortless, become emotionally triggered by, I'm not getting what I want.
Yeah.
And if I'm not getting what I want, I feel defeated. I feel like a failure. I feel worthless, insufficient, incapable, all those negative survival emotions, and now you're just creating more hell inside. Yeah. And if you're creating on the outside, you're impacting other people and influencing their energy too, which is shit.
100%, yeah. It spills over.
It does. So if you focus on the clear intention and you keep connecting to that and you just start making incremental progress, like set a little benchmark, a little milestone, and hit it. And then keep setting small ones to keep hitting them to build up momentum. And then you start actually developing, cultivating, nurturing that faith and belief that it may be. And then all of a sudden, weird synchronicities, you call them coincidences, happen. Yeah. You know, you get that phone call of like, hey, I heard you're looking to do this thing. I want to support that, man. Let's talk about your vision. You're like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from? And you couldn't have possibly found that person on your own. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like beautiful synchronicities just unfold for your benefit with that clear intention and just stay in motion.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. You said something really, really key right now, and that's keep connecting to the intention. It's not a one-time thing.
No.
I mean, it's not a hit it and quit it type of deal. I'm going to connect to my intention, and then
done.
It's going to happen. No, it's something that we have to keep going back to, right? We have to remind ourselves what the path is. And I think a lot of that is to put energy back into the belief of that same path. So it's important to keep that intention, above water at all costs, right? Totally. The mechanism is going to change. It's going to be different. There's going to be different opportunities, different ways of doing things as we come along. But that intention, though, it's really going to be the spirit of the whole thing.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing of all with that, the reason I practice that intention is because it's irrefutable. That which is impressed into the mind will eventually be unconsciously expressed through the body. You'll go there. But you got to go there first in the mind and imagination in order to go there in the body, right? So what are you consistently impressing? Is it new information? Is it consistent on the intention? Or are you just...
Is it action or is it all theory?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I just keep impressing into my mind until it takes root in my unconscious, and now it's just part of my being. Yeah. That is the key to manifestation. In my opinion, that is my way that I adopt and use, and it's worked pretty fucking good based on actual results. Yeah. And so I'm not saying that it's the way, it's the only way. I'm not saying that at all. There may be other ways, and if you guys are watching out there and you got a better way, you better be sharing in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know.
Because I'm always looking to improve, grow, expand, evolve.
Yeah. The path to manifestation is real. It's something that we do have the power to tap into. I mean, it begins with intention, right? Then you clarify the vision. figure out the pain points, and I'm getting pragmatic here.
Yeah.
You know, what's
Pain
the
points
fix?
become the passions.
Yeah, what's the fix? You attach emotion to that fix, and it's going to be the mechanism of whatever you're going to carry on. And then it really comes down to belief and action after that.
Yeah,
So,
and it's easy to believe in it when you release the emotional attachment to, I need this to happen.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need the money. I
Put
need
yourself
the
in
recognition.
that space
Yeah.
of completion, I guess, right? And don't forget to enjoy the fucking journey. I mean,
Oh,
come
man.
on. It's so many times we get caught up, and I'm super guilty of this, right?
Me
Like,
too.
It's like, I'm complaining about, I don't know, having, you know, for example, in real estate, deals to move or you know, I got to send out a contract. I'm trying, like,
First world
shit.
problems.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, oh my God, you know, that kind of stuff becomes a drag, right? Like, quote unquote drag, but it's really a product of whatever you wanted to manifest. So fucking recognize those wins as they're coming in.
Absolutely.
It's
absolutely.
hard to get pissed off at you know, just about everything or anything when you're when you're on that path and you have an understanding, you have awareness that everything around you is a result, right? And I began my manifestation process years ago, right? So anything that I've been able to put together and compile up to this point, it's a result of that. So I catch myself before I complain about anything stupid, you know, good or bad or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I tell myself, like, listen, bro, like, you wouldn't have this problem if it wasn't part of the manifestation process.
Absolutely.
So it's if it's a problem, right? If I deem it that, but it's at the end of the day, like, those are all checkpoints. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to tap into that power of manifestation.
Totally.
So,
And you know what? If those problems weren't there, you're not learning anything new. And
Yeah.
if you're not learning anything new, you'll be in a state of decay.
yeah.
You just got to keep moving forward. No matter how small, no matter how fast, no one can judge your pace. No one
Yeah.
can judge your path that you're on in your journey. That's highly individualized. And that is the beauty of being a human being, is that we have the free will to choose.
Yeah. That's the coolest thing ever.
Coolest. I love how you brought that in the end to just tie a
Oh,
nice
yeah.
bow on that
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Well done. Well done. Well done.
Boom.
Yeah, mad credit.
I had that in the pocket.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
waiting to use that.
Yeah. Fam, there you guys have it. Remember, we all have the power, right, to tap into this space. We all have the power to figure out intention or create an intention behind, you know, the things, the possibilities, the scenarios, or the life that we want to manifest. It's a matter of awareness. It begins with awareness, and then you evolve from that. Till next time, stay. Oh, actually, no, never mind. Justin, where can somebody get a hold of you?
Oh yeah, man! You must miss my
Bro.
opportunity to plug. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna get screamed at by Giovanni in like 2 seconds.
Best way to get a hold of me, justinthorstad.com, or always cell phone number. You can shoot me a DM on social or a text, a phone call. I'm open. Cell phone 602-348-8534.
Boom! All right, and if you want to get a hold of me, Rafael Cortez, CEO on social media. I'm pretty active on IG and all those places. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast if you haven't done so yet. Check us out on YouTube at Rafael Cortez CEO. And yeah, drop your comments. It's a back and forth communication, right? This is a conversation. This is what we're trying to have.
Yep.
We love putting this stuff out there, and I mean, we're in the trenches every single day, just, you know, making shit happen. And I think bringing light to what the reality of the good stuff and the bad stuff, the difficult stuff, and the amazing stuff in the world of entrepreneurship is really one of the biggest things that we can bring forth. So,
Yeah, well, and we're having fun with that, shortening the learning curve for people. All you got to do is plug in.
1,000%,
you know?
bro. The point is not the point.
That's right.
I love it. Till next time, stay focused. You got this. Boom.